I mean, it'll
All right. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. How you doing, Andrew?
good. How you doing, Michael? Good morning.
Wow. Holy cow. 13th of January. We're midway through the first month of the year.
Mhm.
Can we still say Happy New Year?
I think about day 11 you gotta cut it out. Then it's
When's,
you're
when's the last
stepping on
day of the stock
President's
show?
Day at that point. What'd you say?
When's the last day of the stock show?
The 16th?
Okay. So
16th? Yeah.
my understanding in Colorado is
Yeah.
you can still say Happy Holidays or whatever, Happy New Year, and keep your Christmas lights up or your tree up until the stock show. It's kind of a Colorado tradition.
Gotcha. We just took our tree down, recently.
That's great. That's
Yeah.
great.
Last couple days. Sorry. Wow. There's no way. This is the stock show is the 11th to the 26th. No one's saying Happy New Year on January 25th, man.
I'm not.
That's late.
I'm not. I'm not.
Um,
That's
26th, not the 16th. That's late.
wow. Okay. So we got a new year,
Hmm.
new focus, new goals, right? We've got a new administration coming in. What next
Hmm.
week? We've
Yeah.
got these, this horrific event that's happened in California, right? Which we know very intimately from the Marshall Fire two years ago in December,
Yeah.
and just watching some of our own go through that, right? And just to lose all that, and as horrible as that is, I think there's a couple lessons, right? And I go back to December when this happened, and I remember us telling all of our agents, right? You're going to do your client's annual real estate review, right, in January. And
Hmm.
I think we owe it to them, our friends, family, and client sphere, whatever. Just a nice subtle reminder they might want to have a conversation with their homeowners insurance company if they haven't already, right? Uh,
Yeah. Yeah. We
just
can do everything we can, like the people in California, obviously, like their insurance situation was not the norm that most of us in the United States are going to experience, right? Similar to like flood insurance in like, like the southeastern United States and things like that, right? So you can only do so much as a homeowner, but like it's our job as professionals to help you do as much as you can, right? So I mean, I just got done sending out 50 or 60 property reviews. I try to do those in the first like 6 to 10 days of the year, and I was able to get that done. And I mean, we had the benefit, and in Colorado, it's public record, so anyone can. But we can see, what your home was bought for and when it was bought, and then obviously we do our best to give a good solid estimate of what it's worth now. And I mean, if it's been a few years, I would say five is probably a decent number to operate off of. You could argue for three, but if you bought your house 5 years ago and you haven't talked to your insurance company since, it's probably worth, talking to your agent, and seeing what your home value is and making sure those numbers are still relatively in line, right? Because if you bought your house 5, 10 years ago, it could have gone up by 40, 50, even 100% in value, and you're going to be insured for whatever your insurance was back then, even if your rates have gone up, right? If you haven't gone and gotten your home reevaluated, they haven't, they're not going to just, give you more money, right? So,
think
um,
about
yeah.
think about you've got content coverage, right? You and your wife just closed on your first home, right? So you've got, I'm sure, content coverage. Well, you think about
But
like a rental home. Well, how long, right? I mean, there are people in the Marshall Fire, right? I mean, we're 3 years, going to 3 years. They still haven't started to rebuild yet. So they in a
yeah,
rental house for 3 years or 4 years or whatever it is, right? What does that look like? Too. And then also, is it replacement cost of the house to rebuild, or is it just the value of what the house is based on an appraisal,
yeah,
right?
and that also does depend on your insurance,
Exactly. Exactly.
you see this oftentimes on smaller scales in roofs, like depending on what type of insurance you have on your home, and you'll see it very commonly in like shared roofs, like townhouses and condos and things like
Right.
that, where they won't have whole replacement insurance, and it's just not offered, right?
Right.
And without getting too into the weeds, that impacts a lot of things. That impacts, federal loan availability and things like that if you're not properly insured, right?
Yeah.
So it's a unfortunate surprise when you're like, oh man, my roof's done. Your insurance company says, yeah, sure, we'll replace it, but we're going to give you, $5,000 for a $25,000 roof because that's what your roof's worth today because it's 10 years old or whatever, right? So it's, no one likes paying insurance companies, dude. No one likes going through and because you never want to use it, right? But it's probably worth like having a conversation with an insurance trustee that you trust, and saying like, hey, what do I really need here? What is the cost and benefit of having my insurance go up by $10 a month? You know what I'm saying? So, because I mean, especially here in Colorado, because I hate to break it to you guys, you're gonna need a new roof. I'm a homeowner here. I'm gonna need a new roof. Hopefully not this year. Hopefully down the road, but it's gonna happen with our hail, right? So it's probably worth the investment, or at least to consider it being worth the investment to get that whole cost replacement insurance versus just whatever it's valued at, you know. And it's similar with with like whole home insurance, right? So there's replacement costs. And that can be pricey, dude, because they're kind of playing a guessing game. Like, what is it going to cost to replace it, you know? But it's worth looking into. It's worth exploring and seeing what's options are out there for you.
And even on new construction, right, or commercial, right? So,
Hmm.
uh, with my wife being in that business, we've got builders that have been in business for 40 years, have little to no claims. They
Hmm.
care their client, eat it, whatever. It doesn't really matter who's right or wrong. That's just their nature, right? Then you get the same environment, and it doesn't matter if it's a screw or a nick or a chink pit. You know, it's closed, not my problem. You get two extremes, right? So what happens is that this is a shared expense, right? So even though you're doing everything right, chances are your insurance is probably going to go up to spread that risk, right? So, for example, we just renewed obviously our corporate insurance, not only for Colorado but for Missouri and whatnot. And we haven't, knock on wood, right? We're in great shape and have great agents, but our rates went up again. It's like because of other things in the real estate world around
Yeah.
us across the country, these big carriers work in all 50 states. They don't just work in Colorado or
Right.
right? And that's painful, right? But I believe it's kind of our role to help educate our people to do the right thing, clean contracts, great relationships, great communication, all those things we talk about being a great agent, right? So, to kind of dovetail for 25, we have a new theme this year, Thrive in 25,
Mhm.
right? We had a great business planning about a month ago and a great team event, bowling. What's kind of top of your mind as we're kicking off the new year? Things that agents should be doing right now.
Yeah. So right now, I mean, right now I'm gonna hedge just a little bit to say like this probably should have been done maybe 30 days ago ish, like last couple weeks of December at the latest, you know. But if you're in your flow month now and you're getting caught up, that's fine. But I would say by the end of December, you should have your, you know, plan through mid-year pretty well solid, right? So you need to have that negotiation with yourself of what do I want to do to grow my business or maintain my business in 2024, and how do I want to schedule that, right? And so, the big word I like to kind of instill into people is going to be accountability at that point. So, uh, I think we do a pretty fair job of business planning every single year, and it does shock me how many companies and how many individual agents don't do like even a small form business planning for their business every year. But let's assume that everyone does for our conversation right now, and people are pretty good about pulling together a plan, right? People are pretty good about saying like, oh, hey, I want to, people are great at saying like, hey, I want to earn ABC dollars this year, or I want to have XYZ number of transactions. People are excellent at that, right? People are even pretty good at saying like, hey, I'm gonna do that by, contacting my sphere, by, sending out home updates, by, cold calling, by door knocking, by doing open houses. Pick any number of real estate activities that you want to do. People are actually pretty good at saying, hey, I'm gonna do those things. What people aren't great at, in my experience, is setting up a achievable schedule to do those things and then holding themselves accountable to that schedule. And
Yeah.
unless you can do all four of those things, and in my opinion, the last two are by far the most important, then the stack of cards you've built for your business plan is going to crumble, because the foundation of what is going to make your business successful in 2025 or in subsequent years is going to be what is your output to secure and win new business, and how are we measuring the impact that our output is having on that stated goal, right? So,
Right.
and it's not fun, guys, but it's a pretty surefire way to be successful. So,
Right.
and again, it's about, and we're big on planners here. I give all our agents planners, and I say like, hey,
Right.
it's not just like write down, hey, I'm going to do these things. It's Put them on your schedule, put them in your planner, write down individual clients you're going to call, write down individual pop-bys you're going to do, write down individual open houses you're going to hold open Saturday from 1 to 3. Dude, write it in your calendar. It's in there. And our brains, like I said, and people rightfully so use their phones and their calendars and their computers and things like that to great success, right? But we've had calendars on our phones and our computers for 20 years, maybe a little less, right? 15 to 30, let's say, right? We have been writing crap down for tens of thousands of years, right? So we are much better at memorizing and putting to action things when we put pen to paper or chisel to concrete, you know? So
Right, right.
I highly encourage everyone to construct a very specific plan with very specific activities that you want to do. So it shouldn't be, oh, I'm going to connect with my sphere more in 2025. It should be, hey, I'm going to make 5 calls a day. I'm going to have at least 1 or 2 coffee meetings a week. And I'm going to have, one, in-person sit at the table, proper review with my clients every single month, just spitballing, right? And that's going to be obviously long-term clients, right? If you want to add new clients, you're probably going to have to do some new client acquisition. Probably going to have to partner with the title company and work on some hot lead list. Partner with realtor.com, homes.com, any of these companies and make a little investments. Like, hey, I'm going to get these leads, but they're not worth anything if we don't follow through with them, right? Hold some open houses, do some door knocking, whatever it is, but put specific measurable quotients around those activities and then hold yourself accountable to achieve those things and then review every quarter if you can, every 6 months, I think is a bare minimum. And so then if we obviously that makes our plan more solid as we go through the year 2025, but as we flash forward into year 2, 4, 8, 10 of us being realtors, our plan is getting more and more adept, more and more sharp, more and more specified and tailored to our business, that you're going to see that natural progression instead of seeing like this, right? And the other caveat I would put on that, guys, is, it's very common to say, like, oh, I'm going to make, if Andrew's making 5 calls a day, he's pretty busy. I can make 50. Like, well, maybe. You know, I definitely, on days I can, I make more than 5, right? But 5 is my basement. But I would say your base level of output to generate your new business and to maintain current business should be something that you can achieve in 2 hours a day, Monday through Friday, right? And I mean, we've said it plenty of times here, guys. This is not a 40-hour a week gig. It just isn't, right? Like some week, like I mean, and it's January 13th. It's picking up, but for December 15th through yesterday, it was like an hour a day, a couple hours a day. Right? This is what it is. Now, as we get to June, July, will it be, will it step up? Yeah, of course, man. As we get busier, our time gets more valuable. But you should 2 hours a day is a bare minimum that you can set for yourself, and you should be able to achieve that level of output in lean months and in thick months, right? Like if you're very, very busy, you got 3 or 4 buyers in the listing. That is awesome. Let's finish that out. But your 2 hours a day does not change. That is the obligation you set for yourself. If you got nothing cooking, dude, and you're trying to build a new business, your 2 hours a day doesn't change, but you probably should leverage your other free time in an efficient way to grow your business as well, right?
Yeah.
So that's kind of my quick and dirty version, but measurable quantitative activities that you're going to hold yourself accountable to, review that plan quarterly to semi-annually, and then have those activities that you're going to measure fall within a 2 hour grid of time, block of time, Monday through Friday. And it can be different. I think it's good to vary your times, like especially if you are doing some outbound calling, right? I think it's good to have Monday be 9 to 11 and Tuesday be 1 to 3 and Wednesday be, whatever, 2 to 4. Who cares, right? It's good to vary that, right? But you need to have it built in. And maybe not every day is a call day. Maybe Tuesdays are your days when you go film a bunch of content for the next, 3 or 4, the next week or so, right? Maybe Wednesdays are days you go tour new builds, or you go, reach out to a couple agents in your firm or outside of it, say like, hey, really awesome listing in a neighborhood that I dig. Can I go tour it and share some stuff online, help you out? Some people are going to say no, but from my experience, most people say yes. So yeah, maybe you might have to make 2 or 3 phone calls before you get 2 or 3 yeses, but hey, man, pretty good.
Right.
Filling up your day. So and again, these are all just different ideas. So, I mean, I'm willing to have a conversation with anybody, but talk to your managing brokers, talk to agents that you trust in your office that are doing well, and dude, it sometimes does, but it very rarely happens by accident that people are successful, you know? So people who are doing well consistently have a plan and they execute it.
Right. You're exactly right. You know, it's interesting. I got introduced to the planner and the planning, the written form a few years ago, and you know, I'm a tech guy. I've got it in my, you know, my Outlook and the phone and notes, and which is amazing. And I love all that to be able to have it at my fingertips. But a couple of things I've noticed is that I'm dramatically more productive throughout my day and the next day if I've got it written down. You know, I've
Mhm.
got 2 pages here just for today, and I'm
Yeah.
probably halfway through it, right? Some things I can't do till later today for just timing reasons, but it's like I'm staying on my task, right? And the other thing is, I've also learned to not have so many things, right? So, for example, a lot of people getting into the first of the year, they're going to work out. Well, what does that mean, right? Do
Mm.
you have workout pants and a shirt and a hat and shoes and socks? And are you going to work out inside? Are you going to work out outside? Are you going to spend money and do a gym? What's it look like, right? You got to do
Mhm.
something to get started, right? So, like for example, in my planner, um, 4 out of the 7 days a week, I've got kind of a rhythm as part of my miracle morning, right? So some of that miracle morning is reading. Some of it is a little bit of digital and social. Some of it is just me just watching things that I really enjoy. I'm kind of into Jeeps right now. I'm kind of on my Jeep era.
Yeah.
So I'm learning about Jeep stuff and cool stuff. And then I'm also learning a lot about advanced um, leadership, right? So just advanced leadership in 2025 versus 5 years ago, right? And so part
Mhm.
of that is I've got a schedule. So on one day, it's only treadmill. One day, it's stretching. One day, it's light weights. Then the fourth day is kind of a combination of all of it, right? And then if I get lucky, especially in the winter months, and I get that 3 o'clock kind of lull, you know, that kind of that
Mhm.
lull is I can grab the dog and just do a walk around the block. Just give me some
Mhm.
fresh air. Even once, twice a week. It's good for her, good for me, right? So
Yeah.
part of that is there's a strategy around it, right? And then it's like, you're right, get it done. I'm out of it. I'm done by 7 o'clock in the morning. Because for me, if I don't, it just won't happen probably the rest of the day. A lot of people can work their day, cut it off at 4, hit the gym for an hour and a half, then go home to their family. It's their break. It's
Right.
perfect for them, right? I just can't. And it could be my age. It could be that I get up earlier. It could be a lot of things, right? But the bottom line is, instead of making excuses, is trying to win my day, right? And then trying to stay on task. And I just have found that digital is amazing, but I can't do it without this planner. So thank you for getting us planners.
It's just the act of writing something down that it's, I mean, think about, you know, we sign contracts, we make commitments, we sign our marriage licenses, you know,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
putting something on paper just naturally embodies a level of commitment that writing something or typing something into your phone just never does, right? And and it doesn't have to be perfect, guys. Like you don't have to have like a nails down plan that's going to generate 100 new clients this year on day one. It
Right.
has to be a place to start, right? Like
Right.
I'm forgetting which kind of business professional man influencer kind of character said this, but the quote stuck in my head is perfectionism is procrastination masquerading as quality control.
Oh, I like that.
And I can't tell you how many times inside our team and out, I've heard people say, like, "Oh, I'm gonna do ABC, but I want to make sure it's really just right. I'm gonna send out flyers, but I want to make sure the content is perfect. I'm gonna film some videos, but I just want to make sure I have a good idea for content." It's like, dude, I appreciate you want to put out quality stuff in it. And I'm never gonna tell you to phone it in, but you got to start moving, dude. Like I mean,
Yeah.
if your goal is to that would be akin to saying like, hey, I want to get in shape, but I want to make sure I can run a 6 minute mile first. It's like, well, no, man, you got to get your ass out there on the road and run. There's no way or different form to go about it, right? Like
Right.
I want
Right.
to, if you want to construct your business and want to grow and you want to use YouTube video or social media video as a component of that plan, you have to start filming and sharing videos. There's no other way about it, right? Like you're not making cereal. You're not telling a story that you need to like storyboard and figure out the facts. You're
Right.
trying to inform the public, presumably, about real estate and how you can help them out, man. Like, figure it out, dude. Google on Monday, real estate news this week. Oh, hey, people are having trouble with insurance. What can
In
insight
our
can I offer on that?
So I'm in the
Go,
Ninja
you know,
coaching
like
program.
yeah.
Yeah, you're right. No, I couldn't agree more. And last week, actually, in the Thrive/Ninja training program, that's exactly what we talked about. Just action. It could be that simple. And
Mhm.
I think the thing that we struggle with as realtors is there's a level of visibility. Well, and that has gone awry in a lot of platforms, the visibility part of it. But I think providing value to people, just like when we went through the change last year, right, with the buyer agency agreements and compensation, right, we have to provide more value as a buyer's agent and let the public know than we did prior to August of last year, right? We spent all of our time, energy, and money in listing presentations and signs and logos and this writer and that writer and this color font, but we spend zero time with the buyers, right?
Yeah.
Without the buyers, you don't have sellers, right? So I think on some level, um, as challenging as that transition kind of was nationally, I don't think it was that challenging for us. I think we were on top of it the
Mhm.
day after the verdict. We trained on it. We planned for it. We gave them the tools to do it. Now, if an agent chooses to use the tools or not, but either way, he or she has every tool at their fingertips to be wildly successful. It's about action and visibility.
Mhm. 100%, guys, and we're very fortunate. We obviously operate in in Colorado and Missouri, and obviously the setup for real estate was very different in those two states, though it's getting closer together. But in Colorado specifically, we were very fortunate to have a lot of things in place already. Like honestly, and hashtag not legal advice or whatever, but if nationwide we did real conducted business like we do in Colorado, there wouldn't have been, in my opinion, a lot of reasons to sue. But unfortunately, we're not, right? And I will say, I'm very happy that the Division of Real Estate, they don't love doing this, guys. Like they have a way of doing things that's proven successful and proven to be very fair for a long, long time. But they scrambled together and put out forms and made adjustments for us in August of last year, so we were ready to go when those things came out. And they did their best to not allow something that we can't control as individual agents get in the way of us doing business, and not allow the public to not have access to high quality professionals that are going to help make the process more smooth. And obviously our agents did a great job, And then again, guys, I'm sure there's stuff out there that's slipping between the cracks, man. I'm sure there's agents showing properties without buyer's agency agreements in place, and it happens, guys. Let's do our best to grow from it. I'm sure a lot of it's not even malicious, or they just don't know, So just i- inform your buyers, do the best you can, inform your sellers, do the best you can. Try to, within the best of your ability, get everything lined up and use your managing broker. If you were fortunate enough to be a realtor, use the car legal hotline. They're all tools out there for you, and I think though that combination of things will allow us to be successful as a state, but also our team to kind of maintain a high level of professionalism and high level of output, even amongst all those struggles we had last year, without even factoring in mortgage rates and everything else that was out there too. So
Right.
great job, team. Great job, agents in
Yep.
Colorado. I think everyone did a wonderful wonderful job in 2024, and I'm looking forward to more of the same in 25. So
Yeah, I am too. And so, back to this, I think Andrew, you and I have done this on and off for about 2 years now. I think we're going to get a little more consistent on it.
mhm.
And
We got
again,
our planner now.
yeah, yeah, we're good. So we'll I think we'll go back to bringing in guests. I think interviewing our agents and our admin staff. Maybe we can alternate between Colorado and Missouri. Maybe we can bring in lenders and title, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah,
So you just get a lot of perspectives and make some additional more value add. But yeah, so first one of the new year, and so I'm wishing all of you an awesome 25. Let's all thrive in 25.
let's do it, guys. Have a great one.
Awesome.